Yo, 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 what is going on, my beautiful brothers and sisters, fellow radiators of love? My name is Jamal Pope, aka J Phoenix, and this is going to be your daily tarot card reading for Saturday, July 6th of 2024. Thank you so much for joining me in this video. Hopefully you guys are having a wonderful start to your weekend. Let's go ahead and hop right into it to see what we have going on today. Well, guys, got the Tower card. Oh, got the Tower card. So some sort of abrupt ending, which is interesting coming after a new moon, but some sort of abrupt ending, probably something that's been coming for a while. The good thing about this is that usually when these Tower moments happen, these are things that are long overdue, and it's just time for some fresh change and to clear the space. But let's dive a little bit deeper into this Tower card. Well, I have the Three of Wands in reverse. So it looks like what's essentially coming to an end is the constant pondering and wondering about what we're going to do and how we're going to move forward and philosophizing and stuff. It's like, you know what? There's like an overthinking, there's an over philosophizing that's happening right now. There's an over trying to figure out what's going on in our life, what's going on with humanity, what's going on with like all these sort of things. It seems like a lot of that is just coming to an abrupt end. Three of Wands could also, of course, talk about, maybe this sort of journey. There's some sort of shift in just the journey. Whether you may be going someplace, maybe you're going on a vacation. I know a lot of people are on vacations. Maybe there is an abrupt ending to your vacation. If you went out of town for the 4th of July, maybe it's time to go back home, and maybe you have to go back home early. I don't know. Maybe the weather doesn't permit, or something at home happens that you have to take care of, that you actually have to go home. But it just seems like there's something that's kind of abruptly happening that's going to force your attention. Now, let's draw another card just to kind of get a little bit more in depth, because whenever you see the Tower card, you kind of wonder. And you got the Ten of Wands in reverse. It's interesting that this card is in reverse. This lets me know that honestly, it's time to start actually putting in the work. So, like I've been saying with the Three of Wands in reverse, it's like what's ending is thinking about it and idealizing about something, and the Ten of Wands, like I said, normally like upright. This is about, it's like carrying that bundle of sticks and kind of putting in the hard work, and maybe you are feeling a little bit overloaded. The Ten of Wands in reverse is saying, yo, maybe you don't have enough to do. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's time for you to take a little bit more action. Maybe you want to give yourself some more things to do. You know, it's a very interesting way at looking at this. Or there's also could be this thing with the Ten of Wands in reverse is, whenever I see this card, I think of someone, gathering sticks to build something. Maybe you're feeling like there's a lack of resources right now. So this could also be looking at, what resources do we have? You know what? It's like, yeah, maybe you want like the best, the top of the line to do something. Like let's just say, right, let's just say that you want to write a book, right? Say that you want to write a book. You don't have a computer, or you don't have enough money to buy a computer. Get classic notebook and pen and start writing. Oh, well, my hand's gonna cramp up, that's gonna be a long process, and I'm about to convert things over to, the computer, and that's gonna be a pain, because then I have to type everything out after like trying to read my handwriting, and my handwriting sucks, and I can't always read my own handwriting and stuff. This is just an example. I'm like, well, believe it or not, we had the technology. You know that there's actually an app where you can like take a picture of something that you wrote, and it can convert it into like a document, like a Word document or something like that. That exists. So just because you may not necessarily have all the resources or the resources that you want doesn't mean that you can't go ahead and get started. And that's just a simple example as far as like if you wanted to write, like if you want to write a book. It's about utilizing the resources that you already have. So I feel like this Tower moment that's happening here, it's especially since it's two wands, it's dealing with fire, it's dealing with more etheric, more creative kind of energy. So what's ending, I don't think is necessarily per se anything physical. It's more so of this idea that we can't move forward, this idea that we're constantly wondering about our next step and thinking about our next step. Now it's actually like go time. It's time to utilize the resources that we have and just go for it. You know what I mean? So maybe you're waiting for some financial support. Maybe you're waiting for a loan or something like that. There's something that you can do today to move the ball, to kind of move the pin and get things moving forward. Astrologically, there's not a whole lot going on today. It's really mostly the moon making aspects. The moon's going to trine Saturn, it's going to sextile Mars, it's going to conjunct Venus, all rather positive aspects, right? It's going to then square Chiron, then it's going to sextile Uranus, and then at the tail end of the day, it's going to trine Neptune, right? So, couple of trines, couple of sextiles, nice little conjunction to Venus. Remember, that's coming off of that new moon right now. And of course, it's the square to Chiron. The square to Chiron is probably the most difficult one because the Chiron in Aries is like, well, I lack this sort of thing, or I have this thing going against me, so I can't. You have to kind of have this more positive outlook, this more positive attitude, and be like, you know what? Just because I don't necessarily have all of the things I want, just because maybe, yeah, like it's one of those things where you just overcome it. I'm going to use another example, right? This is a really good example, right? Because when you think of Cancer energy, and especially with the moon being there, you think about, you think about the womb, right? You think about birth, you think about the mother, you think about young children, even though young children's kind of Gemini energy and Leo energy, but you think of those sort of things, or birthing, right? People who are born with disabilities, right, especially physical disabilities, which is definitely more of an Aries thing because that's your physical appearances, then the moon squaring it, it's like, how do you overcome those disabilities? For example, me and my wife, we watch MTV's The Challenge, right? And there's this competitor on there who's been on many seasons, and he's won quite a few. He's actually won quite a few seasons. His name is Jordan, right? If you watch the show, you probably know. This dude is, he's loud, he's boisterous, but he's honest. He's an honest competitor, and he's in your face, and he's not afraid from a challenge, and he's super excitable, and he is disabled. He has like a hand where it's like he has like two fingers on one hand, and yet that if any that doesn't deter him. He was born that way, right? Cancer, right? He was born that way, and it's a physical disability. That's definitely Chiron and Aries. He's able to overcome that challenge, and he's able to win these challenges. It's a perfect example. So it's like you may have something that you think is going against you, and not realizing that that can be a source of inspiration. That can be a source of you overcome that. That's just maybe it's just a fact of your reality, but it doesn't have to be all of who you are. This dude, one of his first challenges, I think, is either his the first time he was on the show or the second time he was on the show. One of the challenges that he had to do to win like an elimination is that he had to take a sledgehammer and bang it into a metal beam, and it had to go a certain distance, and then they had to switch off because it was like it's like two people versus two people, and then they had to switch off, and then it's like the guy started, and then I think then the females, they ended it, right? This dude destroyed it, and he had to hold the sledgehammer in such a particular way because of his hand, and yet they won. They won that elimination. Didn't matter that he had a disabled hand. They won it anyways. So that's the thing about a day like today. It's like, I think the tower moment is like us worrying and doubting and fearing that we can't do something, that we don't have the resources with that 10 of Wands in reverse, that maybe we're not feeling inspired or motivated enough with the 3 of Wands, and we don't necessarily know what. Because like this normally shows someone who's on a cliff looking out the sunset, thinking about the future, wondering what's out there, and us constantly wondering what's out there. Just go, see, explore, live, be extroverted, get out there. You don't just stay in that tiny little bubble, and don't allow the perceived, you know, hindrances, in your life, the Chiron and Aries, with that moon squaring in, when the moon just wants to be comfortable, don't allow those hindrances to deter you. And it's through those challenges that we grow the most. I'm sure that Jordan is the way that he is because of that. But at the same time, he uses it as a source to motivate himself and to inspire himself to be that much better. And it almost doesn't matter that he's handicapped because he's a damn good competitor. And you gotta have that kind of mindset. So you kind of have to look at it, it's like, you know what? Yeah, I have that weird thing about me. Doesn't matter. I'm damn good at what I do. And that's the way that you gotta go about it. It's about maintaining that positive attitude. I've been saying that. I'm gonna continue to say it all week. It's about maintaining that positive attitude. Interesting that I got the card of Tantric Journey. The frequency of Tantric Journey helps us to unlock the hidden knowledge and wisdom that we intrinsically hold about to reach a state of wholeness and completion through our sensual experiences with ourselves and with another. So this could be dealing, obviously, like maybe you have like some bomb ass sex, whatever like that, this on this Saturday. But this is also just about, this also is bringing up intimacy. How can you live a more intimate life? If you're single, how can you be more intimate just with yourself? Not in a physical and overtly sexual way, but how can you just be more intimate, especially with this moon in Cancer, which is definitely getting more emotional anyways, and all this energy in Cancer, but it's making these aspects. It's like, yes, how can you have more intimacy? And then of course, like if you are in a relationship, how can you have more intimacy there? Like I said, doesn't necessarily have to be physical. It can be, but it's about intimacy, right? Into me see. Some people are so afraid to see into themselves because they're worried about what's there. And yet, if you were to look into yourself more, and if you cultivate a practice of looking into yourself every day, you will see just how amazing you really are. That's going to do it for your daily tarot card reading for this Saturday, July 6th. I trust this message will assist you on your journey this weekend or this Saturday. And yeah, y'all take care. Stay blessed. Have a wonderful Saturday. I'll see you all on the next daily tarot card reading. Peace.